Hey, good evening, everybody. Texas Redleg here. Hope everybody had a good week, productive week, a safe week, and are ready to unwind a little bit for the weekend, hopefully. I had a fairly busy week, lots of work, lots going on. Not complaining, it just is what it is. Today's video, I wanted to kind of get back on track a little bit and sort of get back to the prepping side of things. And I know most of you guys and gals know that we ain't done yet with this thing, not even close. So I kind of wanted to circle back to a little bit more of the everyday prep stuff. And I know that a lot of you are out there are big on Dollar Tree preps and do these Dollar Tree hauls and all that. You know, I shop at Dollar Tree, I would say quite a bit. It's not the best place to buy things all the time, of course. There are some things that I buy there that probably aren't necessarily the best bang for the buck, so to speak. But for what my situation is, it just works out good for me. And the first thing that I get from Dollar Tree usually when I go is the little cartons of milk. So these are quarts of milk. And the good thing about these milks is that the shelf life is huge, is long. So you can see this is for the good till the 4th of August. All right, and it's regular 2% milk. And it is good, and of course, until that date. But I can rotate it pretty regularly, and the rule basically is for this stuff, when you crack it open, you've got 2 weeks to consume it before it spoils. So I don't know how many of you have ever been in Europe or like mainly Germany, but this is how they sell their milk over there. They don't have the big gallon jugs and the half-gallon jugs like we do. They have little quarts of milk. But they also have whole. And so what was going on with me is that I was sick and tired of throwing milk out because it was spoiled, the gallons of milk, and they're, $4 or $5 a gallon, it seems like. So what I did was I just bought these little quarts and store them on the shelf. And number one, if you've got a kid around, they've always got milk. And number two, it lasts a long time. Number three, you just don't waste it. At least that's my experience. So, if you were to chalk these up to, of course, a gallon of milk, it, take quite a few of them, and it's a little bit more expensive than an actual gallon. But for me, it's just good to always have milk around. So anyway, that's one of the things that I buy from Dollar Tree on the reg that really gives me peace of mind knowing that there's always milk here. If you wanted to make something that needed milk, just from the jump, you got milk. So, not that I drink a whole lot of milk, but it's just good to have around, I think. And the shelf life is just so long. It's just kind of a no-brainer, in my opinion. Another thing that I get is this Texas Pete hot sauce. Love it. It's good on just about everything. I usually buy 2 or 3 or 4 every time I go, and I've just got a whole bunch of it. Another one is the spicy brown, Gulden's mustard, and then the regular yellow mustard. I'm sure a lot of you do the same thing. But, the stuff basically lasts forever, honestly. And, I do rotate it and go through it anyway. It's not like sitting on the shelf all the time, but those are pretty good buys, in my opinion. And then another one that I get is these stuffed olives. These are a pretty regular thing that I buy. They're just a nice little snack that I'll use from time to time, or throwing them in a martini or whatever the case may be. But anyway, those are some of the Dollar Tree items that I get on a regular basis. And again, these are really just they are cheap, but they last. At least in my experience, they last. So. But again, like I said, I usually rotate through stuff so it's not sitting there, for years and years. And I did have a bonus I wanted to share with you guys. And I'm sure I'm not telling a lot of you anything on this, but I used to also have a problem with throwing away bread because bread is just not something that I eat a whole lot of. And so I would buy a, $2 loaf of bread and it would just end up molding and go bad. So what I did was I opted for a little bit healthier option on bread. And this is that Pepperidge Farm uh, whole grain, thin sliced or regular sliced, whatever bread. Okay. And it's got this interior plastic lining around it, including the bag. So it's really double layered packaging. And I'm telling you right now, this loaf of bread that I bought, I think I got that at Walmart, but all the big stores sell it. I think I paid, almost $3 for it, but I bought that loaf of bread 3 months ago, and I keep it wrapped up tight, and it lasts. I mean, I don't know how long I could get. I think I've gotten longer than that before out of one of these Pepperidge Farm loaves of bread. So anyway, if you don't eat a lot of bread and you want good bread that lasts, I highly recommend this Pepperidge Farm. It's that double layered plastic. Man, it just lasts and lasts and lasts. Of course, you gotta, I don't live in too wet of an environment, so that may have something to do with it, but might be something to consider if you're busy throwing away bread that you paid money for, and if you don't eat a whole lot of it and you want it to last, try some of this Pepperidge Farm. There's other brands too. I can't really remember who they are, but as long as it's got a double, layer of packaging, I'll try it. And I've tried other ones as well, and they lasted too. So, it might be something to consider going forward. If you were able to freeze it, and maybe stockpile it that way, it might be even, you might have a year's worth of bread on your hands sometime, It's crazy. But anyway, I was pretty impressed with that, quite honestly. And I just kind of discovered that by accident. Nobody told me about it. I just bought a loaf one time, and last couple years, I think, is when I discovered this. And I just kept it closed up tight. When I'd get a piece or two out, I'd close it back up tight and just put it on the shelf and leave it alone. And whenever I wanted bread, it was always good. So anyway, something to think about. I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, I'm glad to be back a little bit here and be able to put out a video regarding the prepping stuff. Please like, share, and subscribe. I always appreciate the interaction, and I appreciate all my subscribers, and I'll try to do some more regular stuff here in the next week or so, and maybe keep up a little bit better. So with that, keep prepping, stack it deep, and long live the Republic.